Okay, this is the reading for Gabriel. The inner ring is your natal chart, and then the outer ring is the equinox chart. Okay, so the Aries ingress, which is the zero Aries part of it. So this is every year. This is every year. It's at zero Aries, and you have an Aries sun. So every year it's on your sun in your third house. So there's some short distance travel. Third house matters every year. We're going to have short distance travel, communication, your neighborhood, all the usual kind of Aries energy. What's so different about this particular one is we've got this, we're going to look at everything, but the big thing is it's conjunct this Chiron. This is pretty huge. And how old are you? Can I see the age, please? Oh yeah, you're definitely old enough to remember. This happened maybe 50 years ago, so you may have even been an adult at that time. How old were you in that time frame? Mine is 1952. You're 67 now, so you were like a young adult, a teenager, young adult. So you actually have experienced this energy and being old enough to. Most of the people I've read are, if they were alive at all, they were just children. So you actually went through this maybe when you were a teenager, 16, 17 years old, roughly. So it's some big looking at yourself. When it's on your sun like that, I think it's going to be some huge examination for you, self-examination. Chiron's where we beat ourselves up. It's where we wound ourselves, we beat ourselves up, where we hold ourselves back, where we self-sabotage, where we make mistakes over and over again. We wound ourselves not only in this incarnation, but it does really delve into some past life incarnation stuff. So it's some pretty heavy-duty stuff. It's on your sun, it's in your third house. You have Mercury there and Venus on this side, but it's really on the sun. That's where it's really at. So sun is where you shine. Sun is where you glow. Sun in the third is where you express yourself. It's how you speak, how you talk, how you write. It's how you show up in the world through your words and your communications and what you say. You've got quite a bit of energy going on in that third house anyway, though. Not to mention that you've got the Pallas and Venus on this side, then you've got the Ceres and Mercury on this side. Sun and Mercury in the third. I have that also. And I have Sun and Mercury in the third house. And a lot of times people will say, they always guess, are you a Gemini? Are you a Gemini? And I'm not at all. I have nothing, even remote. I have one planet in air. I'm very little air. I'm not Gemini at all. But it's that Sun, Mercury, third house that gives it that thing. With you at the Venus, I mean, are you a writer? I mean, you could be. I just heard write a memoir. So maybe you're going to start writing a memoir. That just came in out of nowhere. That just dropped in. But this is a time of really embracing that Aries energy more than usual. We also, at the time of this equinox, there's this Mercury-Neptune conjunction going on. Part of fortune in this particular chart, but it may not really. I know I saw that you put UK. I'm not running the chart for each location. I know that is an important thing to do astrology-wise. And I'm wondering if you're going to the UK for your solar return in order to have your solar return chart. I know people do that. They travel to different spots to have their solar return chart work out better for them. And I do believe that. But I just ran like kind of a generic chart just to get the basic stuff. I know if I were going to do it really correctly, I should have ran it for UK. But so that part of fortune thing may not be correct. But the Neptune Mercury is correct no matter what, no matter where we're at. And that's right on your Venus there. So you could have this huge surge of creativity. And I believe that the whole chart of this, you seem to know some astrology by mentioning that you're going to be in UK, so I'm not going to talk baby talk with you. I feel like I can really talk some astrology here. I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I totally forgot. But I was talking about, I could see you really being in a creative mode at this time, big time. Oh, but this is a snapshot. This is a snapshot. Just because this isn't part of, it's not just the zero Aries, and I'm sure you would agree that. It's a snapshot. Every single big thing that's happening right now also carries through for at least the next 3 months till the solstice, and potentially for the whole year, is because it's the Aries, the first sign ingress. So I take the snapshot of this whole thing, and I feel like this whole thing carries you right on through. You could be in a major creative thing going on right now. Well, Neptune has been on your Venus for a while anyway. But with the Mercury there, that kind of helps you make sense of it, I think, especially in the sign of Pisces. I'm sure you get downloads and stuff all the time with your Venus in Pisces, you know. Your creativity is expressed through tapping into that Piscean, Neptunian energy. You draw upon that. But sometimes I have that, and I have Neptune in the first, you know. Yeah, I get stuff all the time, but try to spit it out. The Sun Mercury helps in the third house, helps with communication. But this whole thing here with the Neptune and then the Mercury's there to make sense of it, so you can articulate it, so you can, you know, it's more than just a feeling or just a vibe or just a fleeting energy. You can bring it into your mental mind, and you can articulate it and speak it and write it down and make it tangible and make it intelligible and make it understandable. Not only to yourself, but for others. I get that real strong with you, for others too. I mean, we could look at your 9th house and stuff like that too. Yeah, you've got Saturn, you've got an obligation to share, teach others, and possibly in the realm of Neptune and the esoterica. But let's stay here for a minute. Yeah, so I get that real strong with you, teaching and writing and speaking, maybe lecturing, but more to me, it's the teaching aspect of it. Whether it's through a lecture or a book or YouTube videos like I do or whatever the case, papers, dissertations is coming through. That's your jam, you know. That's your calling. That's your thing. You're on 0 Pisces North Node. Too, that's interesting. I would be getting more into a soul reading, but you're definitely starting on a new karmic cycle with that. And you're definitely an old soul too with all that Piscean energy. Okay, so how have you beat yourself up? How have you, your critics, I'm hearing. You've had critics. And it could be like, if you are a writer, it could be actual critics, you know, like Siskel and Ebert or whoever type of critics, or Rotten Tomato kind of critics, you know, it could be like that. But it's your inner critic too. It matters not what they say, it's your inner critic. You're about to, you could be doing your best work now than ever. That's what I'm really picking up here, boy. This is some major, the vibe is there. Whether you're using that for writing something that you would share with others, or your most intimate own things. Memoir, again, came through really strong. Because Pisces being the 12th house, and that is your inner stuff, your inner emotions, thoughts and feelings along those lines. You've already been through the gamut with Uranus, boy. Uranus has moved into 0 Aries or Taurus, and you've already been through a while of Uranus, so things have probably been really kind of shaky and you know, different for you. I think your whole world has been shaken up. Uranus has been transiting through here for, you know, more than a decade. It's been really going through, what is Uranus, like an 8-year? So maybe 16 years or more, 20 years you've been going through there. So you've really had the Uranian energy super strong in your life. Now that it's reached Taurus, it's kind of settling things down. And this is where you're getting your feet back on the ground. Of course, when this happens, we are having that full moon at 27 Pisces, or 27 Virgo up here in the 9th house. So it's bringing, again, some awareness to your 9th house area. There's some weird noise going on. What is that noise? Well, whatever it is, it stops. Of course, when I'm silent, it stops. I thought it might be an animal or something. Sorry. I was just like, if there's some kind of weird animal in the house, I want to know about it. Anyways. So, awareness to your 9th house, awareness to your superconscious, higher learning, long distance travel. It's not conjunct the Saturn or even in the same sign as the Saturn, but this is 9th house is a huge karmic area of focus for you anyway. Learning about other cultures, traveling to other lands. Teaching. Teaching is the thing that comes through the strongest for me. An obligation to teach. You are part of something. I'm picking up some past life stuff, so we're kind of going into a little bit of a soul reading. I don't want to go there, but what they just showed me, you were a book burner in one of these eras in another lifetime. You were a real Puritan type, and you were part of it. I don't know that you were the one saying, yeah, yeah, burn the books, but you participated in it. You went along with it. So now with this Libra, I'm picking up that there's books is going to be super important to you. Whether you're writing them, reading them, teaching from them, advocacy for learning, writing, reading, teaching people to read, this is all going to be real important to you, and you have this karmic obligation because you took part in it. What is that noise? Well, there's some weird noise. I don't know what it is. The dog doesn't seem bothered by it. I don't know if it has something to do with you reading it or not. I'm sorry, I keep saying, what is that noise? But there is some strange noise. I'm not going to ignore it from now on. The library at Alexandria came through, too. You were in on that somehow. Again, I don't think you were the one giving the orders, yeah, let's go burn the books, but you were doing it, or part of it, somehow, some way, or what led up to it. So you have this karmic obligation to, instead of, shut knowledge down or burn books, to expand knowledge, to be the teacher, to help others, even if you're not the teacher. More so what I'm getting is help others make knowledge available to people. What is that? Oh, it's my candle. The candle's about to burn out. Can you hear it? That little weird, and I was like, what is that noise? Okay, well, mystery solved. We know what the noise is. Okay. So we looked at the full moon. We looked at the other stuff here. This is the big dog, and it's all in your first house. If it wasn't bad enough that you had Uranus hitting practically every planet in your chart, you've had Pluto going through your first house here now for a while. And Pluto hit your Chiron. Wow. I bet you that was some heavy-duty realizations and healing and stuff like that. So I would say that your part of fortune is correct, even though the part of fortune's transit chart isn't. Saturn is right on your part of fortune. So karma has some big lesson to teach you. That's going to be something that helps you in the end. That is your part of fortune. That is a great blessing to you in some crazy, weird way. With Saturn and Pluto, it's usually not, it might not seem like a blessing at all. It's usually not anything that's, like winning the lottery. Well, it could, although it could be. Because Pluto is big money. It could be something like a huge kind of windfall or something like that. Years ago, I read an article about Pluto, and people who had big changes of fortune. They used the example of hitting the lottery, and then they used the example of becoming famous, like overnight famous. They all had some kind of major Pluto aspect going on in their chart, often in the 2nd or 10th house. But, they either they were waiting tables, and then they got discovered, and they're making millions of dollars in movies or music, they got signed to a big record label or something, or they hit a lottery, where they went from one, a low standing of a standard of living to a huge amounts of major money. It was always on a Pluto aspect. So, it could be. That wasn't my first vibe or my first go-to, though. In your case, it was kind of like something that seems really difficult or burdensome, but that you find out is a beautiful blessing, turns out to be. It feels very much with the Saturn in you, it feels very much like something that's an obligation. Something that's an obligation that you're going to have to deal with. And it's just like, oh, I have this burden, I have to deal with this thing, it's such a burden. And then you find out that there's really some great beauty in it. That's the big thing that I'm getting out of it. Like something, you feel like it's getting dumped on you. Like you're getting dumped on. But it turns around that whatever's dumped on you is this beautiful blessing, and you're so happy that it happened in the end. Once it won't seem like it at face value, but it turns out to be. For everyone at this time, because the South Node is involved with all this stuff, this is past life karma stuff for everybody. This is a karmic reward for you in some reason, in some way. It's humbling. It's going to be humbling to you, too. You'll be humbled by this, but in the best kind of way. Almost like, I've just become a grandmother, and here's this little baby, and I'm so humbled in his presence, and I'm just so you're just taken down and everything, all the bullshit in the world and bills and this and that doesn't matter when you look at that sweet baby's face. It's like that. I don't know that it's a child. I'm not saying it's a child, but that it's very much along those same lines. I'm so humbled in his presence. I'm so, somebody pissed me off or this or that happened. None of that matters when I'm with him. And you could have that with a lot of different things in life, but that's just, something I can really, compare to in my own experience here lately. Okay, so that. The last thing that we're going to look at, I wanted to see that other node, that north node. It went over your Lilith too, but that's the next thing I want to look at, because at the time of this, we've got this Lilith-Venus conjunction happening also at the time of this ingress. That's all in your second house. This is you demanding what you're worth, because Venus is money too. Venus is love affairs and things like that. And this is your self-worth too, but it's you demanding what you're worth. It's you standing up and saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm worth, and I won't accept any less than that. That's what I'm getting for you big time, It's in your second house, so it could be regarding money or a job or something along those lines, but it also could definitely be in relationships, because this is your self-worth, period. And you saying, no, I won't settle for less than this. And it's not in a, it's in a very much an integrity way. It's not in a bitchy, a bitch on wheels kind of way or mean way. It's very much in a, I stand in my power, I stand in my integrity. I'm in the Aquarian nature, therefore I am, for all of humanity. No less. Nobody is less or more than the other, but I'm certainly not less than. I'm just, I'm just as good. There was was that your chart or somebody else? There was something I stumbled on about, and I forgot about talking. Oh yeah, you have Mars in the 11th. Yeah, it was you. I was going to comment on that real quickly. You have Mars in the 11th anyway, so you're meant to stand up for yourself in groups of people. You're meant to stand your ground, hold your power, demand. Demand is a strong word, but you can demand things in different ways. You demand them energetically. You don't just demand them by being bitchy and saying, blah, 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 bitch, 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 You demand them by your presence, by your self-empowered presence. The most self-empowered people are not bitchy. They're not bitching and whining and moaning about what they should have or who they want to, what they should get and all this kind of stuff. No. They are, they just are. It's like the Empress in the tarot deck, They just are this presence, and that is what it is. They're the least person. They're not getting their feathers ruffled. They're the least person that would be... that candle noise is very strange. They're the least person that would be there. Uranus, you have, your relationships are different anyway. You have a different take on relationships than outside of the norm, outside of society's norm. Even though it's 29 Gemini in the sign of Cancer, you always have to, be aware that you may attract people who are looking for a mother, looking for someone to take care of them. And the node is going to be transiting down through there and really activating that too. It's in your 7th house in Cancer already. So that could make you aware that people that are showing up may be looking for somebody to take care of them and things of this nature. I mean, that's good to a certain extent, but you have South Node conjunct Pluto. Well, in a wide orb natally too, yeah. So you were real powerful. You've been that outward expression of Mars. You've been that before. That's not your path in this lifetime. This is the path of 29 Sag. This is the higher soul. This is the having integrity. This is the teacher. You very much 29 Sag. You are a teacher. Either through saying, hello world, I'm a teacher and I'm going to teach you, or just through teaching by example. Okay, let's go ahead and change over and get that animal totem card for you for the upcoming, that Venus Palace also is squaring that Mars. squaring the Mars in this chart. It's squaring your Mars too, huh? Okay, so you have a Mars opposed Mars. Okay. Yeah, there's a big T-square going on there. Well, we discussed it. You could meet somebody really, I don't know if you're involved or not, with Mars in the 5th and it getting squared off with this transit. You could meet somebody, like have a love affair, very, very strong attraction. Be very strong sexual attraction. Maybe a earth sign type of person. But okay, what is for Gabriel? What is the? I don't even know if you're male or female. Come to think of it, I really don't. Oh, the deer flipped over. If it's Gabriel or Gabriel, boy, doesn't matter, I suppose. I assumed you were female, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so here's your card, the deer. That is about being gentle. Gentle, peaceful, sensitive soul. Loving persuasion realizes desires. Pay attention to your surroundings, ready to act in an instant. Quiet introspect reveals the answers you seek. Yeah, I could see that quiet introspect here with this Piscean energy going on, but not for too long. Be ready to act in an instant because this Aries energy is really coming on pretty full force here. Yeah, the deer is about being gentle, though. The deer is an outward expression. You know, they're very gentle, they're very sweet and timid. But some of the most sweet and timid people, by all appearances, really are the most, have the most inner strength and the most inner fortitude, I guess. Fortitude. You know what else is those pine trees on this reading, on this card is really standing out to me. So I don't know if you're going to be anywhere near pine trees or if that's something, you know, pine forest somewhere. There's a place where I live that we nicknamed when we were young, everybody called it the pine forest because it was just a bunch of pine trees. We called it the pine forest. So I don't know if you're going to be near pine trees or pine forest, or is there something more to that? Could you benefit through some pine, because I'm smelling it. I'm actually smelling it. So is it the smell of it? I love the smell of it. Or is it, you know, some pine essential oils? Maybe you should be working with those. Maybe when do you smell pine trees? In our society, you know, Western culture, at Christmas time, right? Christmas trees. What are pine Christmas trees? So, you know, could be something connected to any of those. And reindeer are also Christmas related as well. Okay, so that is the reading. I always recommend that you watch it more than once because you never do catch everything the first time through. And this does span a little bit of time. This is good for at least a season, at least until the summer solstice, and potentially even longer, further out than that, the whole year. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for ordering, and I'll get it up to you later this afternoon. Bye.